Welcome to another episode of The Communicative Leader. I'm your host, Dr. Leah O, and today we're honored to welcome Dr. Marjan Modara, a distinguished personal knowledge management facilitator, keynote speaker, and storyteller. With over 40 years of rich experience straddling both the government and private sectors, Dr. Modara brings a wealth of knowledge in managing relationships and coordinating projects across diverse teams. As the founder of a dynamic knowledge sharing hub, Dr. Modara has dedicated herself to empowering organizations and individuals through workshops and presentations to foster trust, communication, and motivation. Her recent TEDx talk, Redesigning Your Life After 50, has inspired countless individuals worldwide to embrace curiosity and resilience in their personal and professional lives. In today's episode, we will explore Dr. Modara's insights on capturing organizational knowledge, managing change, and cultivating a vibrant culture that supports continuous learning. Whether you're a seasoned leader or just embarking on your career journey, this conversation is packed with practical strategies and wisdom designed to help you thrive amidst today's professional and personal challenges. Let's dive in and have some fun. Hello and welcome to The Communicative Leader, hosted by me, Dr. Leah O'Million Hodges. My friends call me Dr. O. I'm a professor of communication and a leadership communication expert. On The Communicative Leader, we're working to make your work life what you want it to be. Well, welcome, Marjan. We're thrilled to have you on The Communicative Leader. And I was hoping before we dive into this conversation, if you could share a little bit about your professional journey and what has led you to where you are today.
Okay, sure. First of all, it's a pleasure to be with you on this podcast, and to imagine that at this time and era, we're halfway across the world and we're talking to each other. It's amazing. Okay, let me start by saying that I started as an engineer. So I went to college and got my degree in architectural engineering at UT Austin. And now the interesting part was that when I started studying that, at the time, we're talking about 45 years ago, and there was no internet, no nothing. So we didn't really have that many choices. So they would say, "Oh, what do you want to be?" It was either an engineer or a doctor. And we were very lucky enough to get scholarships from the government. So I got a scholarship to go to UT Austin and I studied architectural engineering. Uh, the minute I started, the first year, I was like, no, this is not what I want to do. But unfortunately, I was half away on the other side of the world, and I was on a scholarship, so there was no way I could do anything else. So I kept on and I graduated. Uh, Came back. Got a job and worked in ministry in one of our ministries. It's called Ministry of Housing, and then got married, and the kids came along, and I was really not that happy at work. But it being a government job, it was convenient. So we would be going from 7 to 2, and then I'd have the rest of the day with the kids until like 15 years in. And I decided to go in for my first master's degree, and it was in geographical information systems. And the problem is when I was studying that, when it came time to write the research paper, my boss said, "Oh, we can't give you a leave because we really need you at work." And I was already studying, on my own finances and all that, not even through work. So when I asked for the 1 month leave without pay, and him saying that, no, we won't be able to give you that, I said, okay, then you know what? I had enough. Uh, so I quit.
Yeah, good for
I
you.
quit. Yeah,
Yep.
I quit. And at the time, though, it was very good era we were having in the Middle
Mhm,
East
mhm,
and the financial sector.
mhm,
So they needed engineers in the financial sector, and I got lucky enough to get a job immediately, and
mhm,
I got in. It was very it was an investment bank, and it was amazing, and
mhm,
I really found myself and
mhm,
professionally and all that.
mhm.
Um, Unfortunately, again, what happened was they said, okay, now we need to bring in a CEO, but we can't make you a CEO because you're a female and we need
Oh.
a man for the job.
Mhm,
And I was
mhm,
like, okay, um, fine. I've been doing all this job, and then I
mhm,
thought all the work, and I thought, okay, it's my baby. Fine, I'll be the second person in the
mhm,
company. Unfortunately, fast forward again, the guy they brought in didn't get along with me
mhm.
because I was already doing everything, and
Yep.
he felt kind of like uh,
Yep.
um, like
Insecure,
she's
threatened.
insecure.
Yep.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
As he should.
Uh,
You already knew the job.
Job,
You
yeah,
had it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I stayed a few months, but then he
Mhm.
took everything from me. Couldn't
Oh.
do any. I mean, I would go 9 to 5, just
Mhm.
looking at the walls and really not doing anything. And I
Mhm.
said, "Hey, I didn't leave my previous job to just sit in here. I'd rather be at
Mhm.
home with my kids than be
Yep.
here for hours with us." So again, I quit.
Mhm.
Now, the problem was it was in 2008, and I was going to go into consultancy and start becoming
Mhm.
a consultant. But unfortunately, at the end of that year, financial crisis
Mhm.
happened and everything crashed.
Mhm.
And so no job, no nothing. And I was already, experienced, and not many people wanted to get somebody
Mm.
experienced and pay so much.
Yep.
So I went for my second master's degree. So
Mhm.
I said, you know what? I need to have this
Yep.
going on. I can't just sit at home. So I went for
Mhm.
my engineering management degree.
Mhm.
It was halfway through my engineering management degree that I came across a field of knowledge management and innovation management that I got really
Mhm.
interested in, and that's where it opened up the PhD program
Mhm.
for me,
Mhm.
and with the connection of the professor who was giving us the knowledge management, I got into that program,
Yeah.
and that journey started,
Yeah.
the PhD
Yep.
journey, and I was very, very happy with that. But of course, chaos happens, life
Oh.
happens
Mhm.
during that journey, and that's where I started really working on myself.
Mhm.
Like self-development, my thoughts, how
Mhm.
to become at peace,
Mhm. Mhm.
inner self, and all that. So that's where the self development part started. So to be honest with you, the PhD journey wasn't just getting a degree. It
Mhm.
also changed me as a
Yep.
person. It changed me with my relationships with everyone around me. It made me calmer,
Mhm.
and then I started thinking that there is much more to
Mhm.
life than a C-suite job and having titles and all that.
Yes.
So when I graduated, when I got my PhD, I thought, okay, what's next? And that's when I opened up the space to
Mhm.
have workshops and training, and sort of
Mhm.
like a space, safe space where you
Mhm.
gather people and you share knowledge.
Yes.
And that's where the
Mhm.
sharing knowledge and in order to innovate
Mhm.
started. And then I got, after a couple of years, I was lucky enough to get um, um, a chance to be a professor in the university
Mhm.
and start as a part-time teaching in the
Mhm.
university. And yeah, a year and a half ago, I was lucky enough to have that TEDx talk in
Mhm.
Manama for women. And I was chosen to be one of the speakers, and that's where the TEDx talk happened. And then 2 months ago, somehow the algorithm went viral, and everyone started
Mhm.
listening to it and connecting because they would be also going through a lot in their
Mhm.
lives and their career, and started connecting. So that's where I'm standing at today.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And I love learning about these journeys because I think so often, especially when we're our younger selves, our fresh
Right.
selves getting ready to start, like this is going to be straight. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and this it's going to be like a ladder going from
Ex-
here to here. And then we realize,
exactly. Yeah.
nope.
We think it's
Yeah.
linear, but it's not linear
Yes.
whatsoever, and you cannot plan it at all. Whatever you plan,
Exactly.
something
Yes.
comes in the middle, and you
Mm-hmm.
kind of change your track, and your course
Mm-hmm.
changes, and something else comes along. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's think more about your work in personal knowledge management. And I think this is really fascinating. And I was hoping you could explain to us, what personal knowledge management means to you, kind of what's your definition, and why is it
Ab-
critical for both,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
for like
Absolutely.
individuals
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
organizations, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So now, as far as the personal knowledge management
Mhm.
comes in, it's you know how when you go through life and
Mhm.
you learn things through culture and through your parents
Mhm.
and through everyone around you and the
Mhm.
society, and you start building your own beliefs according
Mhm.
to that, and then taking things that you want and saying no, these things don't
Yeah.
work for me. And then
Mhm.
you go through education and you start getting a degree,
Mhm.
experience, career, profession. So all of this, what happens is you're building your personal knowledge, right? So you do take it from outside, but then
Mhm.
you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together for you. Okay.
Mhm.
So then your personal knowledge, your knowledge becomes yours because it's unique to you. You learn things from other people, but then you adjust it and adapt it to you and how
Mhm.
you want to go through life with your own knowledge. So that's where the personal knowledge comes in. Now where the management comes in is you look at yourself and you say, okay, I have all of this. I
Mhm.
have this experience. I have this degree. I have these relationships with people. What is it? How can I manage that?
Mhm.
Like looking for a career. Okay, you would say, okay, I have a degree, but the knowledge that I have doesn't work in this organization, but it works in that organization.
Mhm.
So you start putting in that management for your own knowledge.
Mhm.
So that's where the management
Yeah.
comes in for your personal knowledge.
Mhm.
Okay, knowing how to articulate your own knowledge and work it around the environment that you're in and the organizations that you want to join in, and also with the relationships that you have with everyone around you, okay, according to your knowledge and what
Mhm.
you believe in. Now, having said that, what happens is now when you go into an organization, you have all these people that coming in with their own personal knowledge.
Yeah.
Each person has their own personal knowledge, right?
Mhm.
but they are now part of this big organization that have to go along with the database or the knowledge of that
Mhm.
organization. So what happens is that
Mhm.
organization has to take all these
Mhm.
bits and pieces of these data, of these personal data that comes
Yep.
in, and manages them and puts them into the organization knowledge.
Yep.
So that's how the pieces come together. The
Yeah.
personal going into the organization.
Yeah. And you start to realize what a complex, but what a rich puzzle that is when you're
Abs-
bringing it all
abs-
together.
Absolutely. But then you have to manage it, right? It
Yes.
cannot be just havoc. It cannot
Mhm.
be just chaos every because all
Yep.
this data and information, and especially these
Yep.
days with everything, with all the technology and all
Mhm.
this information that we're having everywhere, it's just too much.
Yep.
It's just a
Yep.
lot. So you just have to filter in the ones that you want
Mhm.
and
Yep.
filter out the ones that you don't want, and then manage
Yep.
whatever you want for the organization
Mhm.
in this for the sake of moving the organization forward
Yep.
and innovating and taking advantage of that for the organization.
Yes, yes, because yes, you're right. Because otherwise it's just a mess, right? It's just
Hmm.
without the management component and someone who understands what to kind of harness, what to pull up, what to foster, we're not
Exactly.
really getting anywhere. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
fascinating.
Exactly. Exactly. So so that's, wrapping it up, putting it up
Yeah.
in,
Yep.
in together and trying to
Yes.
connect the two
Mhm.
knowledges together and
Yes.
manage them.
And so let's continue. I imagine in thinking
Hmm.
about especially knowledge management in organizations, we need
Hmm.
trust and really effective communication. And I know
Absolutely.
these are things that you emphasize. And I'm wondering to that end, what are some effective strategies that you recommend for leaders to kind of foster that trust and those open lines of communication so that, they're
Um,
better able to manage all of
ab-
this knowledge?
Absolutely. Now it's very crucial these days to have um, a safe space.
Mhm.
A safe space in order for people to be able to talk and share whatever the knowledge that they have, um, and collaborate together
Mhm.
and trust each other that,
Mhm.
okay, I'm giving you my knowledge, but I know that you're not going to take it and run away from it, but we're going to be doing something better
Mhm.
because my knowledge, um, uh, with your
Mhm.
knowledge, okay, will add up to a new knowledge. And that's where
Mhm.
innovation happens.
Yep.
Okay. I cannot innovate just by myself. You cannot innovate by just yourself and be
Mhm.
creative. Our creativities have to come together.
Mhm.
Okay. There are things that I know to do better, and there are things
Mhm.
that you know and you're skilled at that know better. Now,
Mhm.
if we put this together,
Mhm.
it's not going to be 1 + 1 = 2.
Yep.
It's going to be 1 + 1 = 10
Yep.
because so much bigger things are going to
Mhm.
happen. So the trust has to be there. Okay.
Mhm.
The safe space has to be there,
Mhm.
and a clear communication. Because if you don't communicate, if you're not transparent with your communication,
Mhm. Yep.
it will not go across. The sharing will not happen. So
Mhm.
it's very crucial.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah. Yep.
the safe space.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
where you can talk freely, and even if you say something that doesn't make sense,
Mhm.
people will not laugh at you. Actually, they will say, "Oh, that's interesting. We never thought
Mhm.
about it that way." So you feel safe at saying anything that comes to your mind and then going
Mhm.
forward with that.
Yeah.
So that's very important these days.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because if you're going to ask me to be vulnerable and share
Mhm.
this information, especially when
Absolutely.
it doesn't align with your expertise, so it might really not make sense at first. It needs to be in a scenario where I know, like you said, I have that safety. No one is going to laugh at me.
I mean, exactly. And
Yes,
we're all diverse. We all come from
yes, yep.
different backgrounds, from different cultures,
Mm-hmm,
different languages, everything. So we have to understand each other,
mm-hmm,
and be compassionate, yeah, and
mm-hmm.
give empathy in order to understand each other. And
Yes,
then we can work together.
yes. And so let's keep pulling on this knowledge
Okay,
management thread.
sure.
And one thing I know as an organizational scholar, I think a lot about how much knowledge is lost when people leave organizations. And,
Absolutely.
right? Some of your work
Yes.
in workshops, you work with organizations to help them think about capturing and preserving this knowledge. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about that process and maybe some practical approaches that you offer that have worked well in the
R-
past.
Right. So there are a few. It's mentoring, shadowing,
Mhm,
okay, and then, as I said, having those safe spaces, um, having um, meetings where people just sit and have
mhm,
coffee and just talk, especially if they are from different departments coming
mhm,
together. Okay. Now, the most interesting one that I found and I always talk about is the storytelling.
mhm,
Storytelling is so effective, in the sense that, say you have an employee that was on a project, and that project either went really well, or even if it failed. But talking about that story from their
mhm.
perspective and
Yep.
from their point of view, and explaining it to others, with feelings and structured,
Mhm,
uh, it's very engaging. Okay. And imagine how many times did you hear a story and it got stuck in your mind and you never forgot it, but you read something and it was not interesting, and then you just walked out of the door and it was gone.
yep.
Storytelling is one of the
Mhm,
most effective knowledge capturing techniques, that is very, very effective.
yes. Yeah.
And what happens is, now if you record that and then put it in the archives and share
Mhm.
it with all the other
Yeah,
employees. Say some of the employees were not there with you in that
yeah.
meeting or in that session. You
Mhm,
can just have it in the database and then share it with everyone else, and lessons learned. That's one
mhm.
of the most effective way
Yeah.
of capturing knowledge.
Yep. Yeah, I really like that. I think especially, as you were mentioning, we live in a time where there's so much data and we have ways of managing and storing it. And that's a great way to use it really thoughtfully so that, it can be a teacher to us as we move
Right,
forward.
right. But imagine if somebody talks about it and tell it in a story kind of
Mhm.
way. People will always remember. And when they can't come across an obstacle or something at work, and then they think, oh, how did so and so? Oh, I remember so and so talked about it in that session and all that. Let me
Yes.
go and bring
Mhm.
it out and see how they
Yeah.
solved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what did they do at the
Mhm.
time? So it sticks in your
Yes.
mind,
Yeah.
and you will always remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And one more thing, that is also, I think, very effective, especially when you have people leaving the company,
Mhm.
is having that interview at the end, where you bring
Mhm.
them
Yep,
in.
the exit interview.
That,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And you interview them, you say, okay, what did you find good in the company? What
Yep.
did you find? What did you not find good in the company?
Mhm.
Can you share what we should do in order to make it a better organization, a better environment, a better culture
Mhm.
for other people? And, they're leaving. They will talk. They will tell
Mhm.
you
Exactly.
what it,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
what it is. And that's another way of capturing knowledge,
Yeah.
which is
And
very
that's
effective.
exactly. And that's a really nice segue because I know that you do a lot of work with organizations and people surrounding change. And we know
Hmm.
that change can be really challenging.
Oh, but
But
oh,
in
yes.
your work, what are there some key principles that you think leaders should follow in managing change? What is your experience or advice with change in organizations?
Okay. Now, one of the things that I have come across, and I know is very important, that is to be very transparent about the change that is going to be
Hmm.
happening. You know,
Hmm.
clear about the vision for that change. Okay.
Hmm.
Don't come at the end of, right at the time the change is going to happen, and tell your employees,
Yeah.
oh, this change is going to happen. I mean, they are in their comfort zone. We human beings
Hmm.
uh, like to stay where we are, where we're comfortable with whatever we're doing. We don't want to rock the boat,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So the leader, the upper management, they have to make sure that they get across that a change is happening, what the
Hmm.
change is, and be very clear with the vision for that
Hmm.
change. Why are we changing? What is
Yeah.
it that we want at the end of the day?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And uh, take them slowly
Mhm.
into that change. Okay,
Mhm.
we shouldn't do it in overnight, and expect people to be, oh, really, that's great.
Mhm.
We're not human beings, are
Yeah.
cannot take change all
Yeah.
of a sudden. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need that. So transparency, communicating the
Mhm.
change, the vision for
Mhm.
that change, and why we are doing that change.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I always say that distressing news can be palatable. Again, if you have that transparency, if we're timely with it,
Hmm.
because we do people a disservice in thinking they can't handle it, but we also need to think about the best way to deliver that messaging.
Right. And one more thing that I remember, I was involved in two organizations merging.
Hmm.
So I went in and I said, listen, guys, don't only think about the numbers.
Hmm.
Okay, because you're having two different cultures coming together. So all these employees in this company are afraid, and the other employees in the other organization is
Hmm.
afraid of the change that is going to happen. They don't know what's going to happen to them, what kind of culture is coming in, because both cultures were different.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, sit down with the employees and talk to them about this. Talk
Hmm.
about what's going to happen and why you're doing it, for them to know, and also talk about the two different cultures. What
Yes.
you are taking from the best of
Hmm.
that culture and the best of this
Yeah.
culture and putting them together.
Hmm.
Make them aware of that. Okay. And it was a good move. It was a very good move. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And that brings us another thing you talk about, and I think I looked at some of your writing is reinvigorating motivation. And this is so important because we know keeping a team motivated can be really tough, especially if we have uncertainty or we've had periods of really heavy work. And I'm wondering what techniques have you found to be most effective in reinvigorating that motivation in teams?
Right, right. Okay. As we said, again and again, communication comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is key in everything. Okay. But not just communication, but also modeling what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Some leaders and upper management and all that, they talk about things and then they turn around and they don't do it themselves, right? They don't model what they're talking, they don't walk the talk.
Yeah.
So it is very important for them to be the role model for whatever they want their employees to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Also, having fun activities to do in times of really hard work, like hours and hours of long work and all that. Give them that break in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Give them that incentive of, okay, let's do an activity, or just bring in food from outside and say, we'll take a break for an hour
Yeah.
or 2 hours. Let's sit down and just relax and vent, even talk
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on. Tell
Yeah.
us if you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Being empathetic and being there for your employees is very important. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important these days. Once they see how you are there for them, they will
Mm-hmm.
do more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said, activities. Even activities outside the organization every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, just let them go out, let them meet outside the
Mm-hmm.
company, and have fun, and have
Yeah.
fun. Imagine when they come back the day after,
Mm-hmm.
refreshed, how much more good feelings and good vibes they have
Yes.
to start
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
To start the day. Very important. Yeah.
Yeah. And then tied into that, that you've talked about analyzing and thinking about an organization's cultures,
Yeah.
its culture. And I'm wondering if you could talk to us about some early warning signs that you see that kind of make us look and say, oof, this culture is headed in an unhealthy direction. What are
Right.
those early
Right.
warning signs?
Um, a few that I can talk about now is what the ones that come up to me is the high employee turnover. Once you
Mm-hmm.
start
Yeah.
seeing people are leaving, that's a sign, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's huge.
Especially if you
Yeah.
have very talented, high-skilled employees leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, one, two, three in short periods, that's an alarm. Okay.
Yep.
You have to go and see what's going on. And it's a it's a flag. It's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's going on? Let me go talk to them. Let me go see what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
uh, okay. And then um, you have meetings where everybody's silent,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's talking, and
Mm-hmm.
you see only the management talking, and they are scared of saying anything other than what the management wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not
Yeah.
a good culture. um Silos, where you have collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
us versus them. When you
Mm-hmm.
start having groups in the
Mm-hmm.
company, uh, and everyone wants to do their own thing and sort of become against the other,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
say one department
Yeah.
against the other department. Come on, guys, we're all in one
Mm-hmm.
organization. We should be working together. Once these silos happen and collaboration is gone, that's another red flag. Something is
Mm-hmm.
going on. The culture is not going the right way. Let's do something about them.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have the passive aggressive communication where your manager is telling you something and then turns around and either promises you something but then doesn't give you the promotion,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, promises you a nicer environment in the
Mm-hmm.
office and all that, but that doesn't happen. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
The culture is not going the right way. And then the inconsistency of preaching values and not doing the
Mm-hmm.
values themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are signs of bad culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how can we um, look at them and see what's happening? Is
Mm-hmm.
start having anonymous surveys.
Yeah.
You know, put in
Mm-hmm.
surveys and say, don't put your names down. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to know who's saying what. We just want to hear you.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
just want to hear what's going on in the
Mm-hmm.
company, because some people are really scared of saying, and then thinking that they will jeopardize their positions and their
Mm-hmm.
work and their job, and they will be fired, so they won't talk. But if you tell them that we will not be knowing who's saying what,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you're all safe, but we want to hear you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
doing that. Um, what else? You can have focus group meetings
Mm-hmm.
where you bring in uh, certain people with certain skills, and you ask them what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Why aren't we like doing so well in that product, or
Mm-hmm.
not doing so well in this project? What's going on? This is a safe space. Talk about it, because we want to make things better. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
these are some of the things that
Mm-hmm.
a leader can do
Mm-hmm.
in order to change the culture
Yeah.
of the company.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I always like having some, those tangible early warning signs so that we can tune in and then, like you said, have that anonymous survey ready to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Something so
yeah.
that we can course correct before we've lost a lot of really good people.
Exactly, exactly. And again, as we said, those interviews, the exit
Hmm.
interviews, are
Yeah.
also a very good, effective way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Marjan, let's think about your viral TED Talk, which is so exciting. Redesigning your life after 50. It reflects resilience and perspective.
Hmm.
Um, and I encourage our listeners to go and watch this TED Talk. But
Okay.
from your perspective, are there a couple, I don't know, one, two, like what are the most important lessons you've learned throughout your journey that you think all leaders should consider?
Um, Never stop learning. We don't stop. uh,
Mhm.
Especially these days, in this era that we're living
Mhm.
in. I mean, um, look at me. I'm
Mhm.
64. If I
Mhm.
had stopped saying, "Okay, this is enough. I don't want to learn anymore,"
Yeah.
I won't be able to cope with all the technology that's happening
Mhm.
around me and all that. And I want to be out there. I want to know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
So I have to be constantly growing,
Mhm.
developing, learning. And it's exciting. It's an
Yeah.
exciting time we're going through.
Mhm.
But we have to adapt the growth mindset.
Mhm.
Uh, where Dueck says that if you have a fixed mindset, you just stand where you are and you
Yep.
will not be able to move. But
Mhm.
having the growth mindset, you know that things are coming up,
Mhm.
new things are coming up. I have to
Yeah.
learn, I have to be out there. And it's never a bad thing. I mean, be vulnerable, go and ask.
Yeah.
Go and ask. I don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do this. Even the younger generation, I go and ask them,
Yeah.
this gadget is out. How can I work with it and all that?
Yeah.
And they're more than happy to
Mm-hmm.
show us.
Yeah.
You know, so just be curious.
Yes.
Just go on learning and don't stop. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no such a thing that, I've reached this age and that's it.
Yep.
I don't, I'm tired. I don't want to learn
Yeah.
anymore. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
We want to go on learning and
Mm-hmm.
learning and
Yeah.
having the curious mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this next question, I mean, I think you kind of touched on it, but I was wondering if there are more. And I was
Yes.
just thinking about
Yeah.
evolving leadership skills. So, we've talked about lifelong learning and asking
Yes.
questions. And I'm
Yes.
wondering, do you have other advice for leaders, who are navigating their careers later in life? They're seasoned professionals. And are there other
Right.
principles they should adopt to keep thriving or things they should be mindful of? In organizations at this time in their
Yeah.
careers.
As you say, adaptability. We have to adapt.
Mhm.
We can't just say, "Oh, we are from, we're Generation X or
Mhm.
baby boomers and all that,"
Mhm.
and this is all new to us.
Yep.
There is no such a thing. We have to adapt and move forward with the
Mhm.
generation. And the beauty of it is that if you sit down with the new generation, they're more than happy to share, but we have to come down to their level,
Yep.
okay, and sit with them and start
Mhm.
learning from them. And believe me, they want to learn
Mhm.
from us also.
Yep.
We've got a lot of experience. We have
Mhm.
30 years of experience in
Yeah.
advance of what they have.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, we have seen 30 years
Mhm.
forward that they haven't seen yet,
Mhm.
that we can share with them. Okay, so sharing that knowledge,
Mhm.
being adaptable to
Yep.
all the new things that are coming up,
Mhm.
emotional intelligence
Mhm.
really, really is very crucial. We have to know other people, our employees. We have to know how they think.
Mhm.
We have to know what's going on in their lives. Sometimes
Mhm.
they come in and they are already so burnt out from their houses because something is going on.
Yep.
Either they are a caretaker, they have
Mhm.
a sick person in the house, they have small children, but nobody to take care
Mhm.
of them and all that. We have to be
Yeah.
empathetic about that
Mhm.
and give them this space and just ask about them. The minute you
Mhm.
ask about
Yep.
them and say, what can I do to
Mhm.
help you um, be in a better space at work,
Yeah.
they will talk. And maybe
Mhm.
even just talking, you don't really need to do much outside.
Mhm.
Even if you just sit down and talk with them, make them feel better,
Yes.
that's a step forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing the power of helping someone be
Yeah.
feel seen
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
transformative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you're a leader that you can't sit and be
Mhm.
yourself with your employees.
Mhm.
There's always that. I mean, believe me, the respect will always be there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh, but respect is mutual. Yeah, you have to
Yes.
give respect in order to get
Mhm.
respect.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you. So, Marjan, I have two final questions for you, and these are
Okay.
intertwined. This is the way that we end all
Yeah.
episodes of the Communicative Leader. And it's thinking about so the first one is pragmatic leadership or communication tip, advice, or challenge for our titled leaders out there. And then
Hmm.
the follow up question is, what is that advice or tip or challenge for employees across all ranks, all industries?
Right. Okay. Now, today's leaders, they should cultivate diverse skills and qualities.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be just like I'm good at just this, and as we said,
Mm-hmm.
they have to be adaptable. They have to know that there are so many things, so many diverse things that and
Mm-hmm.
skills that I mean, imagine something that happened positions that were there 3 4 years ago are now redundant. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you stick to that mindset that is going to be there forever,
Mm-hmm.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so diverse skills, qualities to thrive
Mm-hmm.
in a very rapidly changing environment,
Mm-hmm.
and our world. It's very crucial. Um, uh, and Practical communication,
Mm-hmm.
transparency. I
Mm-hmm.
can't, I mean, I cannot push on that more, because once you are transparent, once you are authentic, once
Mm-hmm.
you know how to communicate well and
Mm-hmm.
listen well.
Yes.
We always talk about communication as if we are just talking, but
Mm-hmm.
listening is a big part of it also. Listen what the other party has to say, uh,
Yes.
in order to come into agreement. Okay. Sense of empathy and
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence. Very important these days.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important. Okay. Now, for the employees, okay, um,
Mm-hmm.
they they have to again work on themselves, okay, in order to understand what they want,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
and communicate that
Mm-hmm.
to their uh, upper management, to their other
Mm-hmm.
colleagues, to what is it that they want. Because most of the times, if you have noticed, all these the new generation, they study and they get degrees, but then they come out and they think, oh, but that's not my passion. My passion is something else, and they go after it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
because in our time it was just you get one degree, you work in that one degree,
Yep.
you end up all your life
Mm-hmm.
being in that. Isn't that boring?
Yes. Yep.
It's
Mm-hmm.
so for now, in order to be happy, you have to be working on something
Mm-hmm.
that gives you that fulfillment inside,
Yes.
that passion. But they have to also work on it to become
Mm-hmm.
better, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and communicate that
Mm-hmm.
to other people, and then build their ability to manage both their own emotion and understand the emotions of other people,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so that they
Yeah.
can work together. Very,
Yes.
very crucial. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm,
I love this focus now. I think we're much better at acknowledging that people come to work and not just a shell of a person.
yeah.
Because I think if we, 5, 10 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about empathy as much. We wouldn't be talking
No,
about emotional
no.
intelligence as much. And now
Right.
we're seeing this isn't nice to have, it is need to have.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you noticed that um, after COVID, what
Hmm.
happened with the what do they call it? The big resignation, they called it.
Oh,
People
yeah.
people were leaving because when
Yeah.
they sat at home and they started working from home, they realized what a toxic culture they were working
Yes.
in, and they
Yeah.
couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
Going back to that environment. So it's all about emotions. It's all about understanding each
Hmm.
other and being in the right culture to work, together, and it's all for the benefit of the organization at the end of the day. If I'm in a good
Exactly.
mindset and I'm happy, believe me, I'll do double what
Yeah,
I'm doing today.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So it's all about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Marjan, thank you for sharing your time with us, your expertise. This has been a really fun conversation, and
Zaja,
I've enjoyed
thank
it,
you.
and I know our
Thank
listeners
you.
will as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Leah. It was really a pleasure.
All right, my friends, that wraps up our conversation today. Until next time, communicate with intention and lead with purpose. I'm looking forward to chatting with you again soon on The Communicative Leader.